In today's episode, we talk about why buying real estate is actually a pretty complicated, somewhat overwhelming and confusing process, specifically the 91 things that could go wrong, the 5 things that you need to find in a real estate transaction, 4 of them being people, and what these things have to do with a real estate transaction and a real estate agent. This is episode 12 of 3 Things with Darin. I am Darin, and let me set the stage for you here again. I guess what I look at is I personally like to know what I'm heading into, even if it's scary, if it's complicated, if it's a little confusing, if it's a little overwhelming. I'd rather someone take the time to let me know that instead of let me blindly go into something and then have these surprises pop up and me start wondering if I can turn around and go back the other way and go, maybe I shouldn't have got involved with this. So this video is really to lay the groundwork to let you know that, because that's just the way that we look at working with our clients. So especially if you're a first-time home buyer, this episode is specifically for you, just to let you know, here's where your expectation should be with this. So thing number 1. At Persinger Group, we've actually identified 91 things that can go wrong in a real estate transaction. And I don't say that to scare you or to try to convince you not to buy real estate, not to buy a home, not to become a first-time home buyer. I just want that expectation to be met, that the first little road bump in the road that we hit, you don't freak out and go, I don't want to do this anymore. There's going to be lots of bumps in the road. There's going to be lots of ups and downs. If we're on a plane, this is going to be turbulent. I guess if you have a fear of flying, the turbulence could freak you out. But just realize that that's part of getting to the destination, that journey of turbulence. There's going to be lots of ups and downs because there's so many people involved in a real estate transaction. There's so much paperwork. There's so much back and forth. There's so much negotiation. There's so many things that can go wrong. 91 things that we've identified. But don't worry, because we've identified them, so we have a process in place to handle those things when they pop up. Thing number 2. There's 5 things that you need to find that you need to in order to complete a real estate transaction. 4 of them being people. So let me run those people down for you really quick. Number 1, the real estate agent. Of course. Number 2, you need a mortgage lender. Who's going to loan you the money? I guess if you're buying cash, you can scratch that person. Don't really need that person then. But for the majority of us, we're going to be financing that. We need a mortgage. So the second person you need is the mortgage lender. Third thing, highly recommended, the third person is the home inspector. So after you get under contract, you make an offer to the seller agrees. Then we go what we call in Washington pending inspection, and you hire your inspector, and they're going to come out, take a look at the property, the outside, the inside. They're going to let you know the condition of it, if there's anything that's a major problem, any major defects. So you want to make sure that you have a great home inspector. That's the third person. Then the fourth person is your insurance agent. Because going back to number 2, the mortgage lender, they're not going to finance the property unless they know that it's insured. Kind of like when you go to a car dealer to buy a car, your insurance agent better know what it is that you're buying so that they know how to insure it and how much that cost is. The same thing when it comes to buying your home. Your mortgage lender wants to know that this is insured, so you're going to contact your insurance agent. You're going to get what is called a binder. That they're going to say, okay, based upon the property, this cost of it, the insurance is going to be this much if we had to replace it or whatever it is, the value of that property. So you need to have an insurance agent ready to go during the real estate transaction process too. And then the fifth thing, of course, you need to find the home. So actually, I recommend that, well, let's go into thing number 3 first. So thing number 3, as I just ran through that list of 5 things, you notice that the home is last. And actually, that's how I recommend it. So many people look to do that out of order. They want to find the home, and then they're constantly scrambling, going, well, who should my mortgage lender be? Who should be my home inspector? And of course, you probably have an agent by that time, but then you're trying to find your insurance agent. I highly recommend that you actually start with the real estate agent first. You go find your real estate agent, because once you find the real estate agent, they can help you find the property. And just a little humble brag for Persinger Group, we actually help our buyers. 2/3 of the properties that our buyer clients buy, we help them find. That's well above industry standard and average. So you start with the real estate agent. We can help you find the property. We can point you in the right direction to find the right mortgage lender based upon the property that you're buying. We can help you find a great home inspector. We can help you find a great insurance agent. We can point you in the direction of a few people. You can interview them based upon the property, the location of where you're at. Highly recommend that you start with the real estate agent. And that's why I have these things out, because I really view the real estate agent in a transaction, a good real estate agent, is kind of like the quarterback or the point guard in the transaction. They're distributing things out. You kind of go to that person, and then they say, here's the direction that we're going to go, and we're distributing things out. Okay, now it's time to go do this, and this is who we have to go to. Now we have to go do this, and this person's going to get involved, and now we have to go find that person. So we're facilitating the transaction, the process, just like a point guard is facilitating the ball to the scorers, or the quarterback is tossing the ball around, calling the plays. That's how I view the real estate agent in the transaction. Thank you for watching another episode of 3 Things with Darin. I really appreciate it. I know that there's a ton of information online. You could be going anywhere to watch this kind of content. Maybe not watch it. Not everyone's doing this kind of stuff in real estate, I guess. But you could be reading information on buying and selling property anywhere. So I appreciate you joining me for that. And if you have questions for me on buying, selling, or getting started on investing in real estate, email me questions@darinpersinger.com. Be happy to take those on for you. You can find me on Twitter @DarinPersinger. Oh, one last thing. Subscribe to the channel so you get updates. Subscribe.